Viewers, as we are consistently tracking the Delhi 10-11 blast, there is more breaking news coming in right at the top of this segment this hour. Building 17 of Al Fallah University seems to have become a meeting point for terrorists. Room 13 of Building 17 was the site of a conspiracy to carry out the bombings at several locations in Delhi and Uttar Pradesh. Room 13 is what belonged to Dr. Muzammil Ahmed of Pulwama, where he held meetings with the other terrorist doctors. It is the very same room where the diary of the doctor has been recovered from. The process of transporting certain chemicals from the university lab to Muzammil's room outside the university was decided in this very room. Now, the police have seized this room and recovered various pieces of evidences and devices and pen drives. Two faculty members on this campus, Dr. Umarun Nabi and Shaheen Shahid, arrested in Kanpur, arranged for the chemicals from the college lab and transported them to Dhoj and Taga villages in Faridabad. Forensic team recovered some chemicals and digital data from room 13 of building 17 and the lab. It is suspected that explosives were prepared by mixing these chemicals with small quantities of ammonium nitrate and oxide. Now, Shreya Chatterjee joins me back on the broadcast with more details on this. Shreya, Al Fallah University seems to have been the center of this very plot. This is where everything, the planning, the plotting and the execution, all of it was done right here. And now it's building 17, room number 13, which is coming into focus. It belonged to Dr. Muzammil Ahmed, who was one of the first ones to be arrested in the very terror plot that was being unmasked by the agencies.
Well, absolutely. What here we're learning right now is that there was a cover that these guys were using. The cover was of well professionals. They were studying, they were actually working in Al Fallah, the medical college, and there were two rooms that were basically becoming the hub for all these illegal activities. These were the two rooms where the NIA team also visited yesterday, is what we are already confirming from our sources. And these were the rooms that were also being used for meetings. Apart from that, we are learning that right now there are SSL teams, etc., who will be collecting traces from that room. It's been suspected that probably in the labs of the university, if at all, there were some chemicals that were being transferred, etc. All these things will be checked. But one thing is for sure, that these two rooms that we're talking about, it was the hub of all the meetings that were taking place. And some of the university officials and students also, who the investigators have spoken, they have suggested that even at night, some people used to come to the room, which used to always remain closed. So those rooms have become the main suspicion point. And clearly, one thing is for sure, that the plans were being had in the rooms of these two rooms of the Al Fallah University.
Now, Shreya, what remains to be extremely concerning at this point, and this is a conversation we were also having with Himanshu, it's this very room 13, from where the agencies have also recovered several devices, pen drives, and more specifically a diary. That diary has in fact come out to reveal a wider nexus, which involves around 25 people who've been named. So far, plenty have already been nabbed and are being nabbed from across states. But 25 is quite a high number. To track all of them down and figure out whether the threat indeed has been averted right now is something that comes to the focus and is quite concerning as well.
Well, absolutely. It is concerning. And the reason we need to understand that this kind of an operation needs some more time, because remember, as we speak, it's possible, because one thing we've been confirmed by investigators, that this was a plan for multiple serial blasts. And because it was a plan for multiple serial blasts, but obvious there were multiple other members who were in operation of the module. Could be there was in between recruiting more people. So one thing is for sure, that the police right now needs to track all of them and carry out this operation and to ensure that no member in this module is left unarrested.
Absolutely, and that indeed is the main focus of this very investigation at this given point, Shreya. You know, with more, there is another second card that's come to the forefront. There are more people that's coming to the forefront. At this point, it indeed remains to be quite a task for the agencies to follow up where all this very network indeed spread out too. So yes, Shreya, do stay with us as we speak at this given point, because this is what we are understanding, viewers, that it's a major terror plot that seems to have been foiled at this given point. From starting, the investigation very much started with a raid at Al Falah University, and before that, in fact, that is when the raid started in Faridabad, but before that it was Jammu and Kashmir from where these raids had started, where the entire thing was in focus. The investigative agencies had started their operations from. And as we speak, viewers, we will take you through that very Al Falah University being the center of this entire plot. How so? Let us tell you. Because it's a terror hub that seems to be coming to the very forefront. Number one, it's the building 17 of Al Falah, which became the meeting point for these terrorists. That's what we are learning at this point. And it was not just building 17 as a whole, but it was room 13 of the building 17, which was the site of conspiracy. That is where all the discussions, the planning started to take place. It was Dr. Muzammil Ahmad's room. The room 13 belonged to Dr. Muzammil Ahmad, who in fact hailed from Pulwama. Post that, Dr. Muzammil held meetings with other terror doctors, Dr. Umar un-Nabeen, whose name has come to the forefront, and Dr. Shaheen Shahid, who is also at the very focus of this terror plot. Now, transporting certain chemicals, this very part of the plot was decided in room 13, because remember, it's the explosives that they were collecting from the labs of the university itself. Now, Dr. Umar un-Nabi, Dr. Shaheen Shahid were the ones who were arranging for the chemicals from the university. And the chemicals, where were they being brought from? From the very laboratories. And then the chemicals were being brought from the college laboratories and being transported to Dhauj and Taga in Faridabad, because it is a massive amount that had in fact been recovered from the university. So they had to do it in phases and then keep storing it somewhere. Explosives prepared by mixing. How did they mix it? They mixed it with ammonium nitrate and oxide. That's what we are learning at this given point. That's how the explosives were made. Again, police have seized room 13, recovered various devices and pen drives, which is now very key to the investigation, because that is what's revealing the terror nexus and what exactly was the plot, because from what it seems, it was a serial blast that was being planned by this very group of terrorists. Forensic team recovered chemicals and digital data from room 13 itself, which has started becoming the key to the very terror plot that was being hatched. So this is the very particular plot that we are bringing to you on Focus on India Today itself. There's sources again that has revealed these information to us, remember. And we'll go back to Shreya. So Shreya, yes, as we were discussing, the network and how Al Falah University seems to have become the very center of this terror plot. And at this given point, there was an extensive planning, 2 years over which this entire matter was planned in detail, with chemicals being brought from the laboratories, with devices being made, and then the entire planning as to how they would execute it across locations in this very region, in the National Capital Region itself.
That's exactly what the entire operation was. It was about a series of blasts that they would carry. All of these people had a connection, one connection, that was they were from Kashmir, and we do understand that it was in fact Umar un-Nabi who was the main person of being the bridge between all the doctors. For all this while, we were in the belief that it was the Naugam cleric who was the main one, but investigators, as time goes by and as investigators are interrogating more people, they suggest that it was in fact Umar un-Nabi who was the most radicalized member of this group, and subsequently he were the ones who connected all the doctors together. What is unsure, Shreya, right now is that whether these people were in plan to recruit more people, because their plan was massive. From the amount of ammonium nitrate that has been recovered, one thing is for sure, this was about multiple serious blasts, probably across multiple cities, and that is the reason they were already in a plan of working. Their plan was not complete, and in between, their plan got busted. So this is what we do know, and Al Falah University remains at the center focal point because it was at the room number 13 and 20. These are the 2 room numbers concerned that were occupied by them, including Dr. Muzammil, which was used to hatch the plan for holding meetings, and that is the reason we will be seeing investigators going through that university for some more days to come, as they will have to go and question people, because we are already hearing from our sources that the students already questioned over there suggest that multiple people used to also come at night at these locations, at these hostels. It was a very risky place, used to always remain closed. So it's probably the web of secret wire that
Right,
began
Shreya.
in those
Absolutely.
universities.
While Dr. Umar seems to be quite the key person behind the entire planning, he seems to be the bridge of the entire nexus that was being formed. It is also Dr. Muzammil whose room was being used. It was room number 13 that was being used for the entire planning of how they would execute the very blasts. So that is what we are bringing to the forefront at this very point, viewers. Shreya, do stay with us right now, but we have more breaking news coming to light at this point. Let's quickly take a look. Now, breaking news reveals that according to the Delhi police sources, it is Dr. Muzammil, Dr. Adil and Dr. Umar, accused in the Red Fort blast, had together collected approximately 20 lakh rupee in cash. All this cash was also handed over to Umar. He later used this money to purchase over 20 quintals of NPK fertilizer worth rupees 3 lakh from Gurugram and Nuh and the surrounding areas to prepare IEDs. Now, Umar had created a group of 2 to 4 members on the Signal app. So there is a lot of technology and applications that were used to in fact hold conversations and plan this entire plot. Adil and Muzammil were also a part of this very group, this smaller group of 2 to 4 people who in fact 2 to 4 members rather, who were creating the very, or rather who were making the very IEDs. Now, we have Himanshu Mishra joining us on the broadcast once more to bring us more details on this very forefront. हिमांशु, हमें ये जानकारी मिल रही है अभी कि करीब 20 लाख रुपए इनके पास कैश में इकट्ठा हुआ था, वो भी डॉक्टर उमर ने ही किया था। और आदिल और मुजम्मिल जो है वो भी काफ़ी की मेंबर्स हैं इस प्लॉट के। 2 से 4 लोगों की टीम बनाई गई थी जो आईईडीज बना रहे थे फर्टिलाइजर्स के साथ, जो कि इसी पैसे 20 लाख रुपए जो इकट्ठा किया गया था कैश में, उसी पैसे से खरीदी गई थी ये फर्टिलाइजर्स। इस पर्टिकुलर मामले में और क्या जानकारी मिल रही है?
देखिए, ये सारी चीजें ऑनगोइंग इन्वेस्टिगेशन है। जो लगातार जो इनके पास से डॉक्यूमेंट बरामद हो रहे हैं, जो इनसे लगातार पूछताछ हो रही है, उससे ये बात निकल करके सामने आई थी कि किस तरीके से अपने मॉड्यूल को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए, आईडीज के लिए, तमाम रॉ मटेरियल प्रोक्योर करने के लिए इन्हें जब कैश की जरूरत थी तो सबने मिल करके करीब 20 लाख रुपए कैश इकट्ठा किया और उमर को हैंडओवर किया गया ताकि उमर इन सब से जो तमाम अलग अलग चीजें हैं वो खरीद सके। अब देखिए, जो केमिकल्स खरीदने थे, अब डॉक्टर के लिए केमिकल खरीदना कितना कोई बड़ी बात नहीं होती है। तो एक तो जानकारी भी है और दूसरा, अगर आप डॉक्टर हैं तो सामने वाला भी शक नहीं करता और आपको आराम से केमिकल मिलता है। तो अलग अलग तरीके से केमिकल और उर्वरक तमाम चीजें जो है वो खरीदी गई थी, जो ये कैश पैसा पूरा इकट्ठा हुआ था। और इसके अलावा जब वो सारी चीजें जब जुटी थी और जुटाने के बाद जो अलग अलग जगहों पर जो ठिकाने बनाए गए थे, जो मुजम्मिल ने कमरे अलग अलग जगहों पर दो फरीदाबाद पे उसने जो कमरे लिए थे, तो वहां पर ले जा करके उन सभी चीजों को रखा गया था, उन सामान को रखा गया था जिन्हें बरामद किया जा रहा है। और पुलिस की लगातार इन्वेस्टिगेशन जारी है। पुलिस का कहना है कि आने वाले वक्त में चूंकि कुछ और लोगों के नाम भी सामने आए हैं जो बाकायदा जो मदद कर रहे थे, जिन्होंने सामान खरीदने में, मकान किराए में दिलाने में अलग अलग तरीके से मदद की थी, उन सभी लोगों की पहचान करके उन सबको पकड़ने की कोशिश फिलहाल की जा रही है। जी श्रेया।
जी हिमांशु, हमें ये सारी जानकारी देने के लिए धन्यवाद। Well viewers, that is what we are learning at this given point. More details coming in as to how the entire plan for this plot was indeed made and hatched by these group of doctors. And as the probe into the Delhi blast continues, the DNA tests now have confirmed that it is Dr. Umar who was the bomber behind the 10/11 blast in the national capital. The latest CCTV image obtained of terrorist Umar shows his presence at a mosque in Old Delhi at around 2:30 p.m. and he stayed there for over 10 minutes. He was captured entering as well as leaving the very mosque. Meanwhile, security agencies have recovered the diaries of Dr. Umar and Dr. Muzammil. Sources have said that the plot had been underway and for the past 2 years, and that the diary mentioned Dr. Muzammil, Dr. Adil, and Dr. Umar Nabin as the main conspirators. These diaries were recovered on Tuesday and Wednesday from Dr. Umar's room and Dr. Muzammil's room. This was room number 4 and room number 13 respectively within the Al Falah University campus. Remember, initially it was just 360 kgs of explosives which were recovered from Muzammil's room. India Today has also decoded Delhi blast's terror web. Sources have informed that Umar was in touch with the handler Ukasa, who's based in Turkey's Ankara. The terrorists used Session app to interact with the handler. Again, a new CCTV footage has also been accessed by India Today, in which we see the Hyundai i20 blowing up in that very visual. So yes, this is all that we have gathered so far in terms of the investigative agencies and their probes that is also panning across states at this given point as we speak.
What was Dr. Umar doing before he actually perpetrated that attack and explosion near the Red Gate? Now, the investigations are pointing out to the fact that he visited a masjid in Old Delhi at around 2:30 p.m. before he actually orchestrated this attack. I am outside this very masjid right now. This happens to be at Turkman Gate, just about few meters from Turkman Gate, but on the roadway to Red Fort. And he stepped inside the masjid, was here for about 10 minutes, is what the CCTV footages and grabs of these images have shown in the investigation that is being carried out by the Delhi police, the NIA and other agencies. He came here near the Turkman Gate. Let me show you that the road leading to the Red Fort goes from here straight off, and this is a very crowded area as well in the Turkman Gate region, and right in front of it is this particular masjid that has been situated here. And of course, Dr. Umar is also known as one of the most radicalized people in the gang. In fact, he cut off all contacts with others after he found out that Dr. Muzammil from Al Falah University was arrested and the Faridabad module was busted. The fact that the Red Eco Sport was purchased by Dr. Umar, and he was the one who was coordinating and talking to a handler in Turkey. All these details have come forward in Dr. Umar's investigation, and after a DNA test, it has also been ascertained that the person who died within the i20 car was Dr. Umar. Indeed, his bones had melted because of the impact of the blast and the fusion and the kind of heat it generated. With Lokendra Pandey, Milan Sharma for India Today.
Well, viewers, as our reporters consistently bring in all the updates from the ground, we also are in fact presenting whatever update is coming to you and trying to patch them to show what exactly was the plan, how was it executed on 10th of November, and also what was the plan between 8th to 12th as has been mentioned in the diary that's been recovered. But right now, let's take a look at the terror web, the Delhi blast terror web that we are bringing to you on our screens. Umar, the bomber, was in touch with handler Ukasa. This is all source-based at this given point that we are bringing to you. The person Ukasa is a code name of the handler who is based in Turkey in Ankara. Now, what does the word Ukasa mean in the language Arabic? It means spider. Again, the terrorists used a certain app. It's the Session app that they used to interact with their handler who is based in Turkey's Ankara. The Dr. Gan, in fact, as per details that's now coming in, visited Turkey in March 2022. So it's been 2 years over which they've been planning this entire matter, entire plot. And the doctors were radicalized in Turkey itself when they visited in the year 2022 in the month of March. And out of them, from what we are given to understand now, it is Umar who is the most radicalized, and he was at the very center of this nexus, of the terror nexus that's coming in. That's being in fact revealed and uncovered now. Diary, let's also tell you of terror, which is what has been recovered. It's Bleed India plot that's been unraveled, because from what we are given to understand, it's a series of blasts that they were planning. The plot having been underway for past 2 years. As we are mentioning, 2022 is when it started, when they in fact went and visited Turkey. It was Dr. Muzammil, Dr. Adil and Dr. Umar Nabin who were the key conspirators of this very terror web. Now, terror attack was a part of a well-planned conspiracy. The attack in Delhi was not a surprise attack, but one of a planned conspiracy. The code words that are mentioned in the diary that's come to the forefront at this given point are few dates. That is November 8, November 12. That's been noted in that very diary that's been recovered from room 13 of the Al-Falah University. Now, the diary also, and this is what is extremely concerning viewers at this given point, the diary still contains names of around 25 people, which the investigative agencies is now trying to track across states to follow them and trace them where they are in fact currently. Names of people mostly are from Jammu and Kashmir and Faridabad. That's centrally where all the raids in fact are being conducted at this given point. But Al-Falah University seems to be at the heart of this entire terror network, the terror web, and the conspiracy that was being hatched by these doctors. Now, 3 doctors who we have focused on, but right now sources also revealing and shifting the focus to Dr. Shaheen. How the probe focuses on how Dr. Shaheen built contacts with Kashmiri students. From medical topper to terror handler, the investigation into the Faridabad blast case has taken a new turn as agencies are now focusing on how Dr. Shaheen Shaib, once a brilliant medical topper herself from Uttar Pradesh, came into contact with several Kashmiri students over the last decade. Remember, only a little while ago we were bringing you information of another doctor who's been detained in Kanpur, Dr. Arif, who is also a Jammu doctor who was in contact with this very Dr. Shaheen Shaib. So it is her who was building the nexus, who was in fact probably even recruiting people into this very nexus to widen it and make it more widespread. According to sources, Shaheen is the only accused from North India, while the rest of the suspects all belong to Jammu and Kashmir. So right now, these are the details we have, and we are being joined by Jitendra on our broadcast to bring us more details on this. Jitendra, help us understand. Dr. Shaheen seems to be at the helm of, or rather responsible to recruit more and more people.
बिल्कुल, जो डॉक्टर शाहीन है उसने किस तरीके से कश्मीरी स्टूडेंट्स के साथ कांटेक्ट उसका बिल्ड हुआ और उसको लेकर के किस तरीके से उसने काम किया, इन तमाम चीजों को लेकर के इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसीज इस वक्त काम कर रही हैं। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि डॉक्टर शाहीन का जो भाई है वो भी इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसीज के रडार पर है और सूत्रों ने ये बताया है कि एनआईए की एक टीम लखनऊ गई थी। डॉक्टर शाहीन के भाई से एनआईए की टीम के द्वारा पूछताछ भी किया गया। साथ ही यूपी एटीएस ने जो इनपुट इकट्ठा किया है उसको भी एनआईए ने कलेक्ट किया है। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि डॉक्टर शाहीन का जो पिछले 10 सालों का उसका रिकॉर्ड है, जो उसके कॉन्टैक्ट रहे हैं, क्योंकि ये पता चल रहा है, सूत्रों ने ये जानकारी दी है कि उसने कई बार जम्मू कश्मीर ट्रेवल किया है और डॉक्टर मुजम्मिल जो है उसके साथ भी उसने कई बार जम्मू कश्मीर ट्रेवल किया है। तो उसका किस तरीके से और किन लोगों से कांटेक्ट है, इन तमाम चीजों को एस्टैब्लिश सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज के द्वारा किया जा रहा है। तो वहीं दूसरी तरफ एक बड़ा ग्रुप टेलीग्राम चैनल टेलीग्राम ग्रुप के जरिए बना हुआ था। उस ग्रुप में जो मेन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर था वो पाकिस्तान बेस्ड जैसे मोहम्मद का हैंडलर था। सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज इन तमाम चीजों को लेकर के भी काम कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि उकासा नाम का जो व्यक्ति था उसमें शामिल, उसके बारे में ये पता चल रहा है कि वो जैश ए मोहम्मद का एक टेररिस्ट था और उसने डॉक्टर उमर इसके साथ साथ डॉक्टर मुजम्मिल से तुर्की में मुलाकात की थी। इस तरीके की जानकारी मिल रही, क्योंकि वो दोनों लोग तुर्की 2022 में गए थे और ये भी पता चला है कि तुर्की में वो एक मेडिकल कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए गए थे। उसके बहाने वहां पर उन्होंने मुलाकात किया था। लेकिन सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज अब जीरो इन कर रही है कि जो हैंडलर है वो क्या 3 से 3.5 घंटे का जो गैप रहा है जब पार्किंग में गाड़ी उमर ने खड़ा किया था और उसके बाद करीब 6:50 52 के आसपास जो ब्लास्ट हुआ है, उसके बीच में उसके क्या कॉन्टैक्ट रहे हैं, किससे बातचीत हुई है, उस तमाम चीजों को लेकर के सिक्योरिटी एजेंसी जीरो इन कर रही है और एनआईए अब इसी एंगल से जांच कर रही है इस वक्त।
जी बिल्कुल जितेंद्र, आपने हमें बहुत सारी नई इंफॉर्मेशन भी अभी दी है और उसके लिए धन्यवाद। वेल व्यूअर्स, व्हाट वी आर लर्निंग इज टेलीग्राम वाज द ऐप दैट वाज बीइंग यूज्ड बाय डॉक्टर शाहीन टू इन फैक्ट स्पीक to these very new people that she was recruiting, and it was a medical conference in Turkey, which is what they were attending. That was the guise that was being used by these doctors who had in fact visited Turkey in the month of March. Now let's take you through another aspect of this very blast. One blast, two terror cars, and the mystery behind the Delhi blast deepens as the probe unearths more and more details as we speak. In the latest, the spotlight is being put on the red EcoSport car that has also been recovered by agencies. Sources now reveal that it was the same red EcoSports car that was used to transport the explosive, that is the ammonium nitrate. Now, sources have revealed that ammonium nitrate was being brought towards the national capital in this very red EcoSport. Now, probe sources also reveal that Umar was the most radicalized member of the module and cut all his contacts after the arrest of two people, the Naugam cleric and Dr. Muzammil. Again, Dr. Muzammil being one of the key conspirators amongst the three, Dr. Umar, Dr. Adil and Dr. Muzammil. Sources also reveal that the terror group conducted recce operations, planned multiple serial blasts and awaited a final order from the handler Ukasa, who is in fact based in Turkey's Ankara. Meanwhile, a new version of Umar's travel route has also emerged at this point. This particular travel route reveals how Umar traveled via Faridabad towards Firozpur Jhirka via Mewat, stayed at a dhaba on the Delhi-Mumbai highway all night and later took the same expressway to enter Delhi via Badarpur border, passing through Faridabad. This was the route that he had taken on the 10th itself before the entire attack took place. How exactly was he moving? That is what we have traced. Now, in fact, let's give you a clearer picture with the map as to tracing Umar's movement. Umar's escape plan from Faridabad, that is where we are in fact tracing the very card. Faridabad was where this journey started on that very day. Dr. Mohammad Umar then reaches Firozpur. This is via Mewat. This is all in Haryana, viewers, let us tell you at this given point. So the first point being Faridabad, then via Mewat, Firozpur Jhirka. Then post that, it is the Delhi-Mumbai Expressway where he spent the entire night at a dhaba. This is where he spent the whole night. Umar slept in the very car, and then in the morning he was seen moving towards Faridabad, Delhi, using the Delhi-Mumbai Expressway. So it's a U-turn that we see. He had come down this very route via Mewat, and then he was seen go back to Faridabad where he had started the very journey from. Umar entered Delhi through the Badarpur border. Again, that is where the Badarpur border is. This is detail that had first been revealed when the I-20 car had come into focus on the very blast, the day after the blast had taken place itself. And now this is the very journey that we have tracked of Umar as to how he started it from Faridabad, moved via Mewat to Firozpur, Jhirka, and then came back to Faridabad, and then using the Badarpur border, he entered the national capital with the explosives. Milan Sharma joining us live on the broadcast from Faiz-e-Ilahi Mosque itself. Milan, you were just bringing us a report with regards to how this is the very mosque where the CCTV camera has revealed that Umar was right before the blast, spent around 10 minutes. You know, we're trying to establish whether inside the mosque, when inside the mosque, he had spoken to anybody, he had interacted with anybody. While it's being anticipated that he might have gone inside to offer namaz, were there any interactions that took place within the span of those 10 minutes?
Well, as you can see from the grab of the CCTV footage that has been accessed by India today, Dr. Mohammad Umar came to this very Masjid Faiz-e-Ilahi, which stands right next to the Turkman Gate area, and this happens to be an extremely crowded place. Now, investigations say that he was here for about 10 minutes to offer namaz. That would have been in and around 2:30 p.m. or so in the afternoon. And of course, what we know from now is that his screen grab has shown him sitting inside the masjid during the prayer time. There aren't reports of him interacting with anybody because remember, investigators also say via sources to India today that Umar had actually stopped conversations or stopped speaking after the Faridabad module was busted by the police. In fact, after Dr. Muzammil's arrest from Al Falah University, he had himself switched off his phones and he was not speaking to anyone. Perhaps this is why, this route mapping is very important, because what were the steps that Dr. Umar was taking, known as the most radicalized member of this entire doctor gang that was orchestrating an explosive attack of terror within the national capital. And multiple places they were trying to do these kind of attacks is what the investigators are also revealing at the moment. And the red eco spot that's been spoken about was also suspicious within the Delhi police's radar. Therefore, that car was now used to carry to and fro ammonia nitrate over a period of time for stockpiling. So that was the kind of modus operandi that investigators have revealed. But as I show you, this particular area in Turkman Gate with the Faiz-e-Ilahi Masjid here, there were a lot of people inside the masjid, and the CCTV footage that has been accessed by the authorities also show that this was one of the major spots that he visited, and was here for about 10 minutes, where he had parked his car during that time. What were the conversations that he had inside the masjid? Was he just here to offer last prayers? All these are matter of investigations, and certainly this is what the investigating agencies are now trying to figure out, because the route that you just described there was a long one, and of course, what was going on in his mind as he planned to take the route from here. I'll just ask Lokender Pandey to show you as well. From this masjid, when you turn, there's a small lane and you turn right, and this road goes directly to the Red Fort area where the blast has actually taken place. It's not very far from here, maybe less than a kilometer or so. So what were the plans that he was working on? What were the targeted areas? Was it really Red Fort where he was planning to orchestrate this attack, which happened a few steps away from the main landmark of Red Fort? Is all a matter of investigation. Now this also happens to be the Tablighi Jamaat Markaz, where a lot of medical center related camp works for the Muslim people happened within this particular masjid. Tablighi Jamaat's second biggest markaz is this one after the Nizamuddin. So there is a lot of charity work that goes on. Whether he was speaking to anyone at all from that particular group that is an offshoot of Maulana Saad is also part of the investigation there.
Absolutely, Milan. And there is a big question. Do stay with us. There's a big question that's also coming up as we just explained. The route that was taken by Umar is he leaves from Faridabad, he reaches Jirka, and then he takes a U-turn and comes back to Faridabad. So yes, that is also another major point. And right now, viewers, we're getting more breaking news. This is more CCTV visuals that we are accessing at this given point. This is a CCTV clincher that no other channel has. We are bringing to you on India Today Fast. Terror Dr. Umar, who was caught on camera. This is at Delhi itself, what we are learning at this given point. It was in fact Asaf Ali Road that we are bringing to you the very CCTV visual from. His movements were captured on this very CCTV camera. That very person who seems to be walking into the frame in the CCTV visual, that is Dr. Umar. Remember, we are constantly trying to bring you all his traces from the very blast day, where all he visited, while we will bring to you the very map. We've also earlier received the CCTV footage from inside the mosque, and now this is Asaf Ali Road in Delhi that we are bringing to you the CCTV visual from. This is the latest and the first on this very channel, India Today itself, where Dr. Umar's further movements are being consistently traced in via this very CCTV visual now. This is what we are learning, and this is near the Faiz-e-Ilahi Mosque itself as we learn at this given point. This is what we are in fact gathering from the CCTV. This is, as we are telling you, that this is the movement within the national capital. Remember, he entered the national capital through the Badarpur border on 10th morning itself, but we're trying to ascertain where all he visited right before the blast. Now, while we've already brought you the visual from inside the mosque at around 2:30 p.m., this is from outside the mosque near that very area. This is Asaf Ali Road to be more specific. On that very day, 10th of November, that very morning, where he was spotted on the very roads here. In fact, the CCTV visual also shows the time stamp and the date stamp to confirm at this given point as to when and where this visual was from. Arvind Oja joining me on the broadcast with more details on this very matter. Arvind, ये जो नया सीसीटीवी विजुअल अब है, इसमें उमर दिखे जा रहे हैं असफ अली रोड पे दिल्ली में। हम एक एक करके उनका जो रूट है वो पीस कर रहे हैं अभी कि कहाँ कहाँ वो गए थे नवंबर 10 की सुबह से बदरपुर बॉर्डर से एंट्री दिल्ली में लेने के बाद। ये और एक बहुत ज़रूरी एविडेंस जो सामने आई है ये सीसीटीवी विजुअल से, आप हमें और जानकारी दीजिए।
देखिए, ये जो सीसीटीवी फुटेज है ये अरुणा आसफ अली मार्ग का सीसीटीवी फुटेज है, जो पुरानी दिल्ली इलाके में पड़ता है। जो मॉस्क है जिसके अंदर वो गया था वहां से ये बेहद नजदीक है। अरुणा आसफ अली मार्ग पर ही वो मस्जिद भी है। उसमें आप देख पा रहे हैं कि जो पैदल सड़क पर वॉक कर रहा है उमर नबी एलियस उमर मोहम्मद, वही बॉम्बर जिसने I-20 कार में ब्लास्ट किया था। तो ये वहां से पैदल चलते हुए जा रहा है। दिल्ली के कई इलाकों में इसकी मूवमेंट ट्रैक की गई है। अब सवाल ये है कि ये कार से उतरकर पैदल क्यों चल रहा था, कहाँ जा रहा था, इसकी जांच की जा रही है। जी
जी बिल्कुल, ये जानकारी ही हमारे लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है अभी कि ये जो उनकी मूवमेंट है ये हम लगातार ट्रैक कर रहे हैं कि नवंबर 10 को और कहाँ कहाँ ये गए थे, और इस सीसीटीवी विजुअल से अभी पता चल रही है। और एक बात भी इस सीसीटीवी विजुअल से पता चल रही है अरविंद कि ये अकेले थे। बदरपुर बॉर्डर पर एंट्री करने के बाद जो दिल्ली में इनके मूवमेंट्स थे उसमें एटलीस्ट जितना समझ आ रहा है कि ये अकेले ही थे और अकेले ही घूम रहे थे।
बिल्कुल, ये अकेला घूम रहा था और बदरपुर बॉर्डर में जब एंट्री की है कार में भी अकेला था और दिल्ली में एंट्री किया I-20 कार में। दिल्ली में जगह जगह पर गया है, 50 जगहों का सीसीटीवी फुटेज दिल्ली पुलिस ने खंगाला और सभी जगह पर जो ये उमर मोहम्मद है अकेला कार को ड्राइव कर रहा था। एक जगह पर ये रुका, पैदल वॉक कर रहा था, इसका भी सीसीटीवी फुटेज इंडिया टुडे ने एक्सेस किया है। दरअसल इन तमाम रूट्स की मैपिंग की है सीसीटीवी से दिल्ली पुलिस ने और बेसिकली ये जानने की कोशिश की है कि क्या ये दिल्ली में किसी से मिला था, कहीं स्टे किया था, किसी से इसकी मुलाकात हुई थी, क्या कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं कि दिल्ली में इसकी कार में विस्फोटक असेंबल किया गया, उसके बाद लाल किले में ब्लास्ट हुआ। इस वजह से ये जरूरी हो जाता है कि ये दिल्ली में कहाँ कहाँ गया, क्योंकि 8:02 पर दिल्ली बॉर्डर से बदरपुर बॉर्डर से दिल्ली में इसकी एंट्री हुई है। 8 बजे मान लेते हैं तो 8 बजे सुबह इसकी एंट्री होती है और शाम को 6:48 पर धमाका होता है। कहाँ कहाँ उस दौरान ये पर गया, क्या किसी से मिला, ये जानने की कोशिश की जा रही है और इसी के तहत ये सीसीटीवी फुटेज सामने आ रहे हैं जो हम अपने स्क्रीन पर दिखा रहे हैं। अरुणा आसफ अली मार्ग, यहाँ से मॉस्क बहुत नजदीक है, उस मॉस्क के अंदर भी ये गया था।
मुमकिन है कि ये उसी तरफ जा रहे थे जब ये विजुअल सीसीटीवी में लिया गया कि वो उसी मॉस्क की तरफ जा रहे थे। पर अरविंद, आप जो कह रहे हैं कि दिल्ली में ये किसी और से मिला था कि नहीं, इन्होंने आईडी वही उसी दिन इन्होंने इकट्ठा किया था कि नहीं, बनाया था कि नहीं, ये सारे सवाल अभी सामने आ रहे थे। पर और एक जो सवाल यहाँ आता है कि जिस दिन वो फरीदाबाद से झिरका की तरफ गए थे मेवाट से, उसी दिन उस रात बिताने के बाद उसी दिन वो वहाँ वापस फरीदाबाद से आकर बदरपुर बॉर्डर से दिल्ली की तरफ एंट्री लेते। तो ये भी सवाल उठता है कि वो झिरका क्यों गए थे और वहाँ कहीं ये किसी से मिले थे कि नहीं, जिसके बाद वो दिल्ली आए थे। ये भी एक सवाल अभी सामने आ रही है।
देखिए, ये भाग रहा है। ये जो आपको बताऊं कि फिरोजपुर, आपको ये समझना होगा कि दरअसल जब मुजम्मिल पकड़ा गया उसके बाद से ही उमर का नाम एजेंसियों के सामने आ गया था। अब उमर मोहम्मद के सामने भागने के अलावा कोई ऑप्शन बचा नहीं था, इसलिए एजेंसी से खुद को बचाने के लिए अलग अलग रूट पर भाग रहा था। जब रेड हुई तो फरीदाबाद से ये फिरोजपुर झिरका जो मेवात में पड़ता है वहां पर भागा, साइबर क्रिमिनल का हब है वहां पर भागा। उसके बाद फिरोजपुर झिरका से ये दिल्ली मुंबई एक्सप्रेसवे पर गया, वहां पर इसने एक ढाबे में पूरी रात बिताई, कार के अंदर सोया। उसके बाद फिर फिरोजपुर झिरका से ये फिर वापस आता है फरीदाबाद की तरफ मुंबई एक्सप्रेस से, और उसके बाद फिर फरीदाबाद के रास्ते होते हुए बदरपुर से टोल के जरिए दिल्ली में एंट्री करता है। उसके बाद फिर अलग अलग इलाके में घूमते हुए इसने बम धमाके को अंजाम दिया।
ये जो सीसीटीवी विजुअल्स अब सामने आ रही है एक एक करके, जो इनकी मूवमेंट्स दिल्ली के अंदर ट्रैक कर रही है, क्या इनसे ये भी पता चल रहा है कि ये इलाके की हम बात कर रहे हैं, ओल्ड दिल्ली की हम जो बात कर रहे हैं, इस पूरे इलाके का ये अच्छे से जांच ले रहा था, रेकी कर रहा था कि भले यहीं पे ब्लास्ट को एग्जीक्यूट करा जा सकता है कि नहीं? क्योंकि करीबन अगर हम देखें तो बदरपुर बॉर्डर के से एंट्री करने के बाद ये डॉक्टर उमर की मोस्ट ऑफ द विजुअल्स जो सामने आ रही है ये इसी इलाके से है, इसी इलाके के आसपास से है।
जी बिल्कुल, लेकिन बदरपुर से ये तुगलकाबाद एक्सटेंशन भी गया, मयूर विहार में भी इसकी लोकेशन ट्रैक हुई, कनॉट प्लेस में भी लोकेशन ट्रैक हुई। उसके बाद ऑयल दिल्ली में जो अरुणा आसफ मली मार्ग है, जहां पर नजदीक में ही मॉस्क है, मॉस्क के अंदर का सीसीटीवी भी फुटेज इंडिया टुडे के पास है, जो हमने अपने व्यूअर्स को दिखाया। पहली बार ये है कि ये पैदल सड़क पर वॉक करते हुए दिखाई दे रहा है। अब ये क्या किसी से मिलने गया था, क्या करने गया था, ये इन्वेस्टिगेशन का सब्जेक्ट है।
जी बिल्कुल, और यही सबसे बड़ा सवाल होता है अभी व्यूअर्स। दिस इज व्हाट वी आर गेटिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड एट दिस गिवन पॉइंट, दैट दिस इज वन, फर्स्टली इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस इज वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट विजुअल्स वेयर उमर वाज सीन वॉकिंग ऑन अ रोड, बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द अदर टाइम्स whatever visual has come to the forefront other than the one inside the mosque, Dr. Umar was seen inside the car. Now once he entered Badarpur, it's been understood that he travelled extensively across the national capital to in fact visit several locations. As my colleague Arvind Oja was also bringing to the forefront, he in fact even went to Connaught Place, he's gone to Mayur Vihar and Tughlakabad, and then post all of that around midday is when he reached this very spot, that is Old Delhi. And when he reached Old Delhi, several movements of his was being tracked. One, now this particular visual coming to the forefront that was captured on a CCTV shows him walking on this very road, post which he is even seen inside the mosque where he spent 10 minutes and then comes out, and then he was seen on a parking lot, and then post that was the blast that took place around 6:52 p.m. on November 10th. Milan Sharma continues to be with us on the broadcast. Milan, this very CCTV footage on our screens right now comes to be very crucial, because this is one of the first where he's seen outside the car and he's walking. Now it's still too early to determine, but also investigative agencies are looking into the angle that the amount of time, the hours he spent in Delhi before the blast, after he entered through Badarpur border, whether he met anybody else, whether he indeed got any more explosive materials and then he in fact orchestrated the entire attack. These are questions that are coming to the forefront at this given point.
Well, certainly, because all his movements are being tracked to ascertain whether he was being assisted by someone else also within the national capital, wherever he's been seen roaming. In fact, as mentioned earlier, that he also went to Faridabad, Mewat, and then did a U-turn and then entered Delhi. And he also has been seen in a CCTV footage sitting in his car, where he was also seen at a toll point. And then, of course, when he came here to Old Delhi near the Faiz-e-Ilahi Masjid, he's seen sitting inside in the CCTV grab. And the latest one that we are speaking about is on Asaf Ali Road. So this is the masjid right here, and right next to it is the Asaf Ali Road that I am currently standing on. The Asaf Ali Road is where he's been seen walking. This road straight connects to the main route that takes you to Red Fort from Turkman Gate, and it is a straight road. So it's a matter of, less than a kilometer from here. Of course, he's seen walking. That means he perhaps must have parked his car somewhere and he must have walked back to his vehicle. And from there on, he made his way all the way to Red Fort. What happened beyond, between that, where was he waiting? Because when he was here in the Faiz-e-Ilahi Mosque, it was afternoon time, somewhere in the afternoon, and then how many hours did he roam about without reaching that particular spot, because the blast timing happens to be, very close to 7 p.m. in the evening. And what was he doing before that? Was he meeting someone else? Was he speaking to someone else? Was the assembly of the explosive happening somewhere? How many hours did he wait in a parking lot, etc.? All these are, route mappings of what exactly the most radicalized person in the gang, Dr. Umar, was doing. And whether or not he was speaking to somebody, speaking to his handler. Of course, there's a Turkey connection as well. And all these pieces together are coming, for a puzzle now that are coming together to ascertain what exactly happened before the evening of the blast near Red Fort there.
The missing pieces now being brought together with each of these CCTV visuals that are coming to the forefront. Milan, just stay with us as I just take our viewers through this very CCTV visual. Viewers, this is the CCTV visual that's come to the forefront now. This is on India Today that we brought to you very firstly before any other channel. And this is Asaf Ali Road. It's in Old Delhi. It's quite near the mosque, where earlier we were bringing to you visuals from inside the mosque of Dr. Umar being inside, having spent 10 minutes. But now this is the first visual. Let us tell you, this is the first visual where he's seen outside the car. So probably he had parked his car somewhere nearby. He then started walking on this very road. That very man who walks into the frame, that very person is Dr. Umar Nabi, that we have been tracing, that the investigative agencies have been tracing since day one of the blast. And now he's seen walking down this very road, probably on his way to the very mosque, where around 2:30 p.m. itself in the afternoon, he was seen going inside and then leaving the mosque after 10 minutes. But these CCTV visuals, as our colleagues are also mentioning, it's piecing together information, or rather how this terror plot was executed, how this blast, maybe perhaps one among many that were planned, how was this executed by this most radicalized out of the entire group of doctors who have been nabbed and who are still being traced at this given point? How did he carry out and execute this very bombing at the heart of the national capital, that is in Old Delhi? This very visual comes into play a very important role as we speak at this given point. And Milan, I'll come back to you at this given point. You know, these visuals coming to the forefront, we are saying that, you know, this person is at the very behest of the planning. He is one of the main conspirators, but there are two others as well. And once these two others were arrested, that is Dr. Adil and Dr. Muzammil, it is perhaps then when he started going on the run. So he first went to as long as Jhirka, through Mewat, and then he made a comeback and came back via the Badarpur border to Delhi to in fact recce. Now, Arvind was also telling us that on the morning of 10th itself, he has recceed several locations, or rather at least his car travelled across locations. But in the afternoon time, we see somewhere around the afternoon is when he reached this very location of Old Delhi. Now, there are few hours we see between when he reached Old Delhi and the blast that has taken place. His movements through those very hours is what becomes very crucial and what we are tracking. Milan, I'll come to you with that question, but viewers, there is more breaking news coming in. This is the first image on India Today that we are bringing to you of Al Fallah room number 13, where the entire planning took place. On your screens right now is building number 17, where room number 13 is Dr. Muzammil's room, where all of the planning and plotting continued taking place over 2 years. All of the material, the explosive material, was in fact gathered and pieced together here. It is the IEDs that were being assembled in this very room. Several electronic evidences that have been now recovered by the investigative agencies. But this very particular building and the room number 13 in this building 17 is what remains to be the focus of our investigation, of the investigation at this given point, as we too on India Today are tracking each and every detail that comes to the forefront at this point. This is the Al Fallah University, which seems to be at the heart of the conspiracy that was being hatched by this group of doctors, and this very building that we've marked out for you on our screens as well, that is building number 17 with room number 13, where Dr. Muzammil was in fact planning all of it. Dr. Umar in fact monitoring rather the entire planning plotting that was continuing. But yes, it was Dr. Muzammil's room number 13 where the entire plan was in fact being executed, or rather they were preparing for the plans to be executed. Himanshu Mishra joining us on the broadcast with more details right now. Himanshu, ये पहली images है इस particular building का, बिल्डिंग 17 रूम नंबर 13, जहां पे ये पूरी प्लानिंग प्लॉटिंग इन डॉक्टरों की चल रही थी. हमें और क्या जानकारी मिल रही है अल फलाह यूनिवर्सिटी से?
देखिए, ये जो पूरा जो ये डॉक्टर्स का मॉड्यूल था, ये कोई एक दिन में नहीं तैयार हुआ, बल्कि पिछले जो जानकारी जो उनके पास से जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स मिले हैं, जो डायरी मिली है, जो नोटबुक मिली है, जो इनकी पूरी तैयारी मिली है, जो ये सामान इन्होंने अलग अलग जगहों से धीरे धीरे ये तमाम केमिकल जो है वो इकट्ठा किए हैं, इसमें लंबा वक्त लगा है। और अब तक की इन्वेस्टिगेशन के मुताबिक करीब 2 साल से ये लोग इस काम में जुटे हुए थे। पिछले 2 साल से ये तैयारी में जुटे हुए थे, जिनमें डॉक्टर्स अलग अलग जगहों के शामिल थे। और ये भी पता लगा है कि इस दौरान जब ये अपने इस मॉड्यूल को खड़ा कर रहा था, उमर, मुजम्मिल और आदिल जिसमें मेन थे, और शाहीन, इसके अलावा इन्होंने दूसरे जो कुछ स्टूडेंट थे जो भी इनके संपर्क में आते थे, उनको भी रेडिकलाइज करके जोड़ने की कोशिश की गई थी इनके द्वारा। तो ये साजिश बहुत पुरानी थी, बहुत दिनों से चली आ रही थी। और जब आदिल गिरफ्तार होता है तो उसके बाद एक के बाद एक जब इन्वेस्टिगेटिव एजेंसीज, खासतौर से जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस जब इन्वेस्टिगेशन को आगे बढ़ाती है, तो फरीदाबाद से बड़ी रिकवरी होती है। और उसके बाद पता लगता है कि ये साजिश कितनी बड़ी थी, किस तरीके से डॉक्टर्स के इस मॉड्यूल ने दिल्ली के बगल में फरीदाबाद में उन्होंने अपना पूरा एक बेस बना लिया था। यहाँ पर केमिकल्स की और अमोनियम नाइट्रेट की एक उन्होंने बड़ी खेप जुटा करके रखी थी। एक्सपर्ट की माने तो कई आईडी, 100 से ज़्यादा आईडी ये बना पाने की क्षमता इनके पास पहुंच गई थी, जितने इनके पास अमोनियम नाइट्रेट और दूसरे उर्वरक एनपीके, ये सारी चीज़ें इन्होंने जुटाई थी। तो अभी जब इन्वेस्टिगेशन और आगे बढ़ेगी तो ये पता लगेगा कि ये सब कुछ, जब ये पूरी तैयारी इन लोगों ने जो की है, इसमें किस तरीके से स्लीपर सेल भी कोई था क्या जो इनकी मदद कर रहा था, चाहे वो मकान लेने में हो, चाहे वो इस तरीके के रॉ मटेरियल जुटाने में हो जिसमें इनकी मदद की गई, कैश पहुंचाने में मदद की गई हो, या फिर जो असॉल्ट राइफल, जो कार्ट्रिजेस, जो पिस्टल इनके पास से मिली है, वो किसने पहुंचाई। जिस तरीके से पिछले कुछ समय से हमने देखा कि दिल्ली और एनसीआर में जब भी कोई सस्पेक्ट पकड़ा गया तो एक तरीका अपनाया गया था हथियार देने का, और वो ये होता था कि एक कोऑर्डिनेट भेज दिया जाता था, न कि मिलके, ताकि एक मॉड्यूल पकड़ा जाए तो दूसरे का लिंक न मिले, और उस कोऑर्डिनेट पे जाकर के वो हथियार या दूसरे सामान उठा लेते थे। लेकिन यहाँ पर भी क्या यही मॉडस ऑपरेंडी अपनाई गई, इसकी अभी जांच की जा रही है। तो अभी जांच, तमाम एजेंसियां लगी हुई हैं, और अभी आने वाले वक्त में कुछ और खुलासे होंगे। क्योंकि आप देखिए, जिस तरीके से 10 तारीख को ब्लास्ट होता है और उसके बाद उसकी जांच में पता लगा कि एक लाल कलर की और कार थी जो उमर के नाम पे ही रजिस्टर थी, जिसकी तलाश करते करते पुलिस की टीम यहाँ खंडावली विलेज जो है, जो कि फरीदाबाद से आगे जाकर के है, वहां पर पुलिस की टीम जब पहुंची तो वहां पर पता लगा कि खंडावली में लाल रंग की जो गाड़ी खड़ी है, इसके अंदर विस्फोटक हो सकते हैं। फिर इस पूरे इलाके को देखिए सील कर दिया गया है। तमाम एजेंसियां हैं जो गाड़ी की जांच कर रही हैं कि गाड़ी के अंदर किस तरीके का मटेरियल मौजूद है, इसकी अच्छे से पड़ताल की जा रही है। जी
बिल्कुल हिमांशु, और हम अपने व्यूअर्स को बता दें, व्यूअर्स, दिस इज the second image that we are bringing to you of the very building and the room number 13, which is now under focus as we speak. That is under scanner as we speak, from where several of these crucial evidences have been unearthed, be it Muzammil's diary, which has come out to reveal a lot about the plot and what they were indeed planning, and also a lot of material in terms of electronic devices that have also been recovered. हिमांशु, आपसे ये भी पूछना चाहूँगी कि ये जो बिल्डिंग है, रूम नंबर 13, पर ये एक यूनिवर्सिटी का पार्ट है, बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स वहाँ रहते थे, क्या उनको कभी भनक नहीं लगी कि इस रूम में क्या जारी था? क्योंकि इतने सारे डॉक्टर्स एक साथ इस रूम में आते थे, यहाँ पे केमिकल्स लाया जा रहा था वहाँ के यूनिवर्सिटी के लैबोरेटरी से। क्या किसी स्टूडेंट को जो इस नेक्सस में इन्वॉल्व नहीं था, क्या उन्हें कभी शक भी नहीं हुआ इस पूरे मामले पर?
इसी को लेकर के पूछताछ चल रही है। जो 50 से ज्यादा लोगों से पूछताछ हुई है जो यूनिवर्सिटी में है, वो इन्हीं चीजों को लेकर के चल रही है कि क्या जो ये पूरा का पूरा जो ये मॉड्यूल खड़ा किया मुजम्मिल, उमर और आदिल ने, और इसके बारे में कभी किसी ने भनक तक नहीं लगी। गाड़ी के अंदर असॉल्ट राइफल रख के चलना, आप सोचिए कितनी बड़ी बात है, और किसी को भनक तक नहीं लगी। तो ये सारी चीजें हैं जिसको अभी कंफर्म किया जा रहा है। मल्टी लेवल पे स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड किए जा रहे हैं लोगों के। जो लोग मुजम्मिल से, उमर से या आदिल से किसी भी तरीके से कभी भी जुड़े रहे हों, उन सब से पूछताछ की जा रही है। यूनिवर्सिटी में इतने समय से वो थे, कमरे के अंदर बैठ करके उन्होंने साजिश भी रची, लेकिन बगल के कमरे को जानकारी नहीं, किसी दूसरे को जानकारी नहीं। एजेंसियों को इस बात पर यकीन नहीं हो रहा और यही वजह है कि बेहद डीप इन्वेस्टिगेशन इसको लेके किया जा रहा। लगातार पूछताछ जारी है और जो तमाम डिजिटल एविडेंस मिले हैं वो बेहद महत्वपूर्ण रोल अदा करने वाले हैं आगे इस मामले में। जब उनकी फॉरेंसिक रिपोर्ट आएगी, जब डिलीटेड डाटा को रिट्रीव कर लिया जाएगा, तब कुछ और नाम भी इस मॉड्यूल से जुड़े वो सामने आ सकते हैं।
जी बिल्कुल हिमांशु, क्योंकि हम 25 नामों की बात कर रहे हैं। अगर हम उस डायरी के मुताबिक चले तो जो मुजम्मिल की डायरी थी, व्यूअर्स, दिस इज व्हाट वी आर इन फैक्ट गिवन टू अंडरस्टैंड द रूम नंबर 13 which it ends up becoming extremely crucial at this given point as the investigation continues on with the raids on Al-Falah University and the probe still continuing on that very aspect. हिमांशु, ये जो सारी जानकारी अब आ रही है, इसके बाद भी रूम नंबर 13 के बारे में पता चल रहा है कि ये डॉक्टर मुजम्मिल का रूम था और यहीं पे सारी प्लानिंग प्लॉटिंग चलती थी, पर और भी बहुत सारे डॉक्टर्स इन्वॉल्व थे। अगर हम डॉक्टर आदिल की बात करें, डॉक्टर शाहीन की बात करें, बहुत सारे डॉक्टर्स इन्वॉल्व थे और बहुत सारे डॉक्टर्स इसी यूनिवर्सिटी से थे। अगर रूम नंबर 13 के अलावा क्या पुलिस को किसी और रूम नंबर के बारे में भी पता चला है कि उस रूम में भी इनकी मीटिंग्स होती थी या फिर कुछ और वो लोग स्टोर करते थे उन रूम्स में भी?
नहीं, स्टोरेज की बात नहीं आई है। स्टोरेज की बात जो आई है, जो भी सामान इन्होंने जुटाया खास तौर से बाहर से, उसके लिए बकायदा मुजम्मिल ने अलग अलग 2 रेंटेड एकोमोडेशन ले रखे थे। एक यूनिवर्सिटी से 300 मीटर की दूरी पर जो धौज में ही आता है जो इलाका, और दूसरा फतेहपुर तगा जो कि यूनिवर्सिटी से तकरीबन 4 किलोमीटर के आसपास की दूरी पर है, जहां पर मंडे सुबह रेड की गई थी। वहां पर इसने बकायदा 2500 किलो से ज्यादा अमोनियम नाइट्रेट इकट्ठा कर लिया था। अब आप सोचिए, जब ये सारी चीजें जो मिली हैं, असॉल्ट राइफल, इतने बड़े पैमाने पर आईडी बना लेने के लिए तमाम जो है रॉ मटेरियल, ये इनके इरादे साफ करता है। और इतना ही नहीं, अगर आप देखिए जो अब चीजें क्लियर हो रही हैं कि किस तरीके से इन्हें अलग अलग जो इनका हैंडलर था वो टारगेट दे रहा था, और ये इसके पहले कि सफल रहे। गनीमत यही रही कि एजेंसियां इतनी सतर्क थी कि अपने किसी भी इरादे में कामयाब नहीं हो सके, क्योंकि पहले इन्हें दिवाली 26 जनवरी था, उसके बाद दीपावली आया, और अब जो जानकारी मिल रही है कि ये 6 दिसंबर भी इनके टारगेट पे था कि 6 दिसंबर के दिन धमाका करना है, लेकिन उसके पहले ही ये पकड़े गए। हालांकि बस उमर स्लिप कर गया हाथ से। लगातार रेड जारी थी लेकिन उमर ट्रैक नहीं हो पाया। वजह यह थी कि उसने अपने मोबाइल फोन पहले ही बंद कर दिए थे, इसलिए वो ट्रैक नहीं हो पाया, और उसको इसके पहले कि ट्रैक करते वो गाड़ी में धमाके के साथ उड़ गया। अब ये क्लियर हो चुका है डीएनए रिपोर्ट के बाद कि लाल किले में जो गाड़ी में शख्स मौजूद था उसका नाम उमर था। उमर गाड़ी में धमाके के साथ उड़ गया। अब आगे के जो मिसिंग जो पोर्शन है उनको फिल करने की कोशिश की जा रही है। जी
हिमांशु, हमें ये सारी जानकारी देने के लिए धन्यवाद। Well, viewers, that is what we are learning at this very given point, how the Al-Falah University and room number 13 in building number 17 ends up becoming extremely crucial when we speak of how this entire terror plot was indeed hatched and planned over 2 years. And that is what we have for you at the end of this very hour.